Imagine Apple taking the tiniest iPad they make and turning it into the most advanced small tablet on the planet. That's exactly what a wave of new leaks is hinting at for the next generation iPad mini. And if even half of this comes true, this won't just be a small iPad anymore, it'll be a pocket-sized iPad Pro. So before you think about grabbing the current mini or settling for a bigger tablet, listen to what might be coming next, because this upgrade sounds massive. First, a quick reset. The current iPad mini got its last real redesign back in 2021, with that edge-to-edge look and Apple Pencil 2 support. Since then, mostly minor under-the-hood tweaks. The most recent refresh was basically a chip swap. Apple dropped in an A-series chip, similar to the Pro iPhones, but visually and functionally, almost nothing else changed. Same LCD display, no ProMotion, same overall chassis. It's still a good device, but next to the latest iPad Pros, it's starting to feel a little stuck in time. That's why these new leaks are getting so much attention. They're not talking about a small bump. They're pointing to a mini that's rebuilt from the inside out. Let's start with the big one, the screen. Multiple reports say the next iPad mini is finally getting an OLED display, and not just any OLED, but a tandem OLED panel similar to what Apple put into their latest iPad Pro lineup. If you've never used a good OLED on a tablet, here's what that means in real life. Blacks that are actually black, not dark gray. Colors that pop without looking cartoonish. HDR video that feels like a tiny OLED TV in your hands. Reading at night with almost no backlight bleed. And because it's tandem OLED, essentially two OLED layers stacked, you get higher brightness and better lifespan than a traditional single-layer OLED. On top of that, leaks say Apple is finally bringing ProMotion to the iPad mini. That's Apple's 120Hz high refresh rate technology. Scrolling your home screen, flipping through photos, reading long articles, or flying around in games, it all looks and feels dramatically smoother at 120 Hz. If you use Apple Pencil, ProMotion also cuts down pencil latency and makes writing or sketching feel closer to real paper. Put those together, tandem OLED plus ProMotion, and you're looking at what might be the best display Apple has ever shipped on a non-Pro branded device. On a mini, in your hand. Of course, a display like that needs serious muscle behind it. And that's where the next leak comes in. The chip. Rumors point to Apple using an A19 Pro chip inside this new iPad mini. Think of it as the same next-generation silicon they'll be using in the Pro iPhones, but slightly tuned for a tablet form factor. We're expecting a 6-core CPU, 4 efficiency cores, 2 performance cores, plus a 5-core GPU. Compared to the current mini, that's a huge step up in both raw power and graphics capability. That means console-level games running right on this tiny tablet, smoother multitasking, and more headroom for heavy apps like video editors, music production, and advanced drawing tools. And because Apple's latest chips are getting more and more focused on on-device AI and machine learning, this iPad mini could end up being ridiculously capable for things like photo enhancements, transcription, language features, and whatever new AI tricks Apple bakes into future versions of iPad OS. Now, power is one thing, connectivity is another, and this is where the third set of leaks gets interesting. The A19 Pro is rumored to work hand-in-hand with Apple's own custom modem hardware, a C1X chip for cellular and an N1 chip for Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and Thread. If you go for the cellular model, that C1X chip is expected to bring faster, more efficient 5G, similar to what Apple is rolling out in its highest-end devices. Think better performance on US carriers like Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile, but with less battery drain when you're on the go. For road trips, flights, or hotspot use, that can make a very real difference. The N1 chip, on the other hand, is rumored to handle Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and Thread connectivity. That could mean stronger, more stable Wi-Fi connections at home, smoother Bluetooth performance with headphones and accessories, and better integration with smart home gear over Thread, all with improved power efficiency. In simple terms, faster connections, fewer drops, and more battery life. But making all of this work, tandem OLED ProMotion, A19 Pro new modems, doesn't just mean swapping a few parts. It sounds like Apple is planning to rebuild the iPad mini from the inside out. That's the fourth major leak, a redesigned internal chassis. From the outside, the new Mini might still look familiar. Flat edges, single rear camera, Apple Pencil support. But on the inside, leaks suggest Apple is re-engineering the entire structure, very similar to what they've reportedly done with recent iPhones that look almost the same, but are completely reorganized internally. Why? A few reasons. First, that OLED panel and higher refresh rate need more precise engineering and a different internal layout than the old LCD setup. Second, Apple may use that redesign to squeeze in a slightly larger battery, which would help offset the added power demands of 120 Hz and upgraded internals. Third, there are whispers about a vapor chamber cooling system, essentially a more advanced heat management solution to keep the A19 Pro running cooler and more consistently under heavy loads. If that's true, it means you could push this Mini hard, gaming, editing, multitasking, without it throttling performance as quickly or getting uncomfortably warm in your hand. Before we go any further, if you're into this kind of deep dive on future Apple gear, real leaks, realistic expectations, no fluff, make sure you're subscribed and have notifications on so you don't miss the follow UPS when this thing gets closer to launch. Now, let's talk about when you might actually be able to buy it. The fifth big leak is all about timing. Right now, the most consistent rumor is that the new OLED iPad mini is coming in 2026, likely in the fall. Apple has a pattern. iPhones in September, then iPads and Macs shortly after. The expectation is that we'll see the iPhone 18 Pro lineup and possibly an iPhone Fold-style device first. Then, about a month or so later, this new iPad mini would roll out, probably around October 2026. That lines up with what Apple did before. Launch the latest Pro iPhones with the newest A-series chip, then bring a very slightly cut-down version of that chip to the iPad mini shortly after. So if you're watching this and thinking about buying the current mini, this is important. If you can wait, late 2026 might be the moment to do it. Finally, let's talk about the part nobody loves, the price. According to a report attributed to Bloomberg's Mark Gurman, Apple is planning to raise the starting price of the iPad mini by about $100 in the US. That would push the base model up to around $599. On paper, that's basically iPad Air territory. So why would Apple do that? The short answer is, OLED is expensive. Tandem OLED plus ProMotion plus a high-end A-series Pro chip and custom Apple modems, all crammed into a small chassis, is not cheap hardware. You're essentially getting a lot of what makes the iPad Pro special. The display tech, the performance, the connectivity, just in a smaller body. At the same time, if the iPad Air also moves to OLED in the future, its price is likely to climb as well. So the entire iPad lineup could shift up a notch. The real question becomes, is a $599 iPad mini worth it? If you just want a casual couch tablet for streaming and light browsing, maybe not. A regular iPad or an older Air might make more sense. But if you love the mini form factor, if you want a device that can fit in a small bag or even a big pocket, but still feels like a tiny, no-compromise iPad Pro, this new model might finally deliver exactly that. An OLED 120 Hz, a 19 Pro powered mini with Apple's latest modems, and a redesigned internal chassis could genuinely be the most powerful small tablet you can buy. So now I want to hear from you. If these leaks are accurate, OLED with ProMotion, a 19 Pro chip, new Apple modems, redesigned internals, 2026 launch, and a $599 starting price, would you buy the new iPad mini? Or is that price jump just too much for a device this size? Let me know in the comments what you do. Wait for the new mini, grab the current one on discount, or skip it entirely and go bigger with an Air or a Pro. If you found this breakdown useful, hit the like button so more people see it, and make sure you're subscribed for the latest Apple leaks, breakdowns, and comparisons. As we get closer to launch, I'll be covering every new detail we get on this iPad mini, including which rumors were real and which were just wish. Full thinking. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you in the next one.